Welcome everybody to Catfish Weekly along with Chad and not Josh tonight. But we do have a guest, Chadwick. Your brother in crime, James Dockery, has joined us.
Oh, I didn't even see him.
Hello, everybody.
Well, you look over top of him?
I kept looking down.
Chad gets his head all clouded up over every time someone says Baldwin. So let's be honest, it's not, he may not be a midget, but he's a mental midget, so that's all that counts.
This ought to be a pretty good show tonight. Welcome everybody. We're glad you all joined us. See, Catfish and Crappie Mark has joined us, member for 36 months. Thank you so much, Mark. We appreciate it very much. Joined us. See, Catfish and Crappie.
Nope.
Hello? I didn't do that.
That had to have been you.
No, was not. It had to be
James,
you.
I'm glad you're here, classing up the joint.
Yeah.
I mean, at least now there's two people on this show that know what we're talking about.
What, D in there with you, Chad?
No.
Oh man. Oh,
Sonny Parker, we were just talking about you, Sonny.
We was talking about
and I had to tell him to be nice.
And it was not good either. It was not good.
It was on my part, but well,
On my part, it was not.
Pretty sure he figured that out.
Boys,
You're very welcome, Jeff.
You gonna finish introducing people in chat, or are you just gonna set
All right, I'm just waiting for Lyle to give me the go ahead because he keeps
go
talking.
ahead.
All right. We got Downtown Ernie Brown, Mr. Mike Irvin, Dave Garshar, member Riggin for Fatties, Mr. Mike Sampson, member LG Bass. He's got a couple nice fish here recently. Member Mark from Catfish and Crappie. Catch fish with us. 922 Crappie Barbecue. Mr. Bugman 22. Fishing with Squirrel. Brian B. Catfishing. Fishing with Jeff Beal. Can't remember if it was today or yesterday or over the weekend. Jeff Beal had a birthday, I believe. So belated happy birthday to you. Sean Abney, Northern View Outdoors, Stand 3, Sunny Parker. You told me you was talking about that accident in the parking lot of his boat. And I forgot I did.
Sonny, don't make me go climb in my boat and show you how to stay inside of a parked boat, buddy.
Oh. Dougie Fresh, what's up, buddy? Schmieder of the Cedars. Chad Wall, Mad Catter Catfishing, Lance McCoo Guy, member Get Hooked on D Fishing, Mark Barnum, Sean T Outdoors, hi, jokes on you, Stand 3. I can't stand McDonald's. If you're going to get a good fish sandwich, go to Arby's.
They are pretty good.
They are really good. Greg Burgess. Miss Pontoon Jody. Rolling. Mr. Quiet Man Curtis. Brad Becks. Make sure there's Hooks and Hammocks. They had a fun trip down to Creole land this past week.
Yeah, they sent me, Chris sent me some pictures while they was down there.
Oh, yeah, they kept sending me pictures too.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, I'm down here to the bottom.
And did you mention Chad Wall was in here?
I did.
Okay, I must have missed that. Chad's a good friend of mine. Known him for a lot of years. Make sure that we acknowledge the fact that he was in here.
Got to be a great guy. Look at his name.
Wall.
Chad.
There's Mark Barnum.
Be safe driving, Miss Jody.
It'd be a good time to go, Mark. It sure would. There's Eric Massey, Jig Company.
What's up, Eric? Boys, I was sitting and planning on going fishing yesterday, and the weatherman told me it was going to be 2 to 3 mile an hour wind, bright and sunny. It was going to be a gorgeous day. The river, it's fallen, but the weather-wise was supposed to be decent. Woke up to frost on the windshields, and
Oh,
supposedly the changed to 7 to 10 mile an hour winds. But while we were out there, it was more like 10 to 15 mile an hour winds, and it got me thinking. I was like, got to be prepared, but how prepared can you be?
that's right.
Well, so what you're trying to say is you're turning into a fair weather fisherman like Lyle?
No, I went fishing, no matter what it was. But
Okay.
We need to welcome Richard Ward with Mad Catter Catfishing in. Sorry to interrupt you, but he's an important guy in my book.
Well, seeing that I already said hi to my buddy Mad Catter, and I was like, can't wait to see you here soon.
Well, I didn't catch that. I was busy taking care of business.
It's okay. It's okay. I often ignore you when you talk as well. But you know what you can't ignore, Lyle?
What's that?
The fact that the Cubs are way ahead of this.
So you highlight him?
I hit it by mistake. I'm just trying to get rid of him. Talking about them.
What, because you don't like the truth?
What?
You don't like the truth?
I don't like the Cubs. I don't care if it's true or not. I don't like them non-baseball. They're like the Kansas City Chiefs. They just suck all the time.
About like 22-6, right?
No, I didn't say that.
No,
I did not say nothing about the 22-6. But they don't, like the Hendricks team, they don't have to buy their way to every win.
Oh, I could say something right now that would end the show for sure.
There's butterflies and sunshine.
Dave Funk says, I'm always prepared for the weatherman to be wrong.
Dave Funk, I got to tell you something. I would love to have that job. It's the only job that I'm aware of that you can be wrong every day of the week and still get a check on Friday.
Yeah. Oh. Did you pick that or me? Well, Stan, we were trying to talk about that last week. Is with a cold front coming in, depending on when that's hitting, it might be a great time to go.
My.
Lordy. What's up, John Boy?
Great birds.
Remember, Danny Stone Outdoors says bad weather is God's way of making sure no one is fishing my spot.
Yeah, I bet that's probably right.
We've seen half the trails that Danny goes to get to his spots, and there ain't not many people wanting to get to your spot, pal.
Well, him and Parker, two of a kind. Where they go is where no man has ever gone before.
You guys are just afraid of walking.
I can't walk.
I can walk.
Apparently drive.
Depends on who I'm walking with. If it's somebody like Jerry Parker and Danny Stone, and Danny and I are probably about on the same pace. We get to a point where this looks like a good spot, and we just sit down. Parker keeps going for another mile,
or two.
And that's why Parker catches the big fish.
Yeah. Well, he gets away where nobody else has been.
Yep.
Well, yeah. No, he can't get to.
Unless he's getting a boat.
He's been in a boat a lot lately.
He has been in a boat a lot.
But
he sure has.
But I figure, that's the other thing. We asked Josh to take the night off because we wanted, Dockery to come in here. That way, on the background, me and my boat showed, and it didn't get covered. But we also wanted people that actually go out fishing in the various elements. we had to let Lyle in here because he kind of runs the show. And, he owns it and stuff. So we let him stay. But figure with me and Dockery, as much as we fish in a lot of different elements. I don't fish near as much as Dockery does. I'm not saying that. But, Dockery, how do you prepare for?
I have everything in my car. Change of clothes, extra medicines, that kind of stuff. You never know when you're going to get caught out. Whether it's an ice storm, a snowstorm, hell, I've, turned down a wrong gravel road, turned into mud and gotten stuck.
I'm sure of that.
You sure you want to talk about driving, old man?
Yeah.
I
do.
I'm not going to keep control of this show.
But no, everything that you could possibly need, you should have inside either your boat or your vehicle, one way or the other. There was, 3 or 4 years ago, Doc Lang accidentally fell out of his boat.
Yeah.
And, it happens to everybody.
Yep.
I've fallen through the ice and, had to make a beeline straight to the car as soon as I got out of the ice. So, like, Sonny Parker does the same thing, except with his dogs.
That's right, Miss Laura. I snuck in your live earlier today on my way home for a couple minutes. I just watched. I didn't say nothing. But no, that is a good point because I don't think as far as like changes of clothes and stuff, I don't think I really bring extra clothes because I just drive home in my birthday suit. But I always have an extra hoodie, Lyle. So I'll at least have that on if I get pulled over.
That's right.
That's right. You sure are being quiet now, Lyle.
I have a story I'm debating on telling about.
No, come on now.
Well,
let them hear it.
Cindy and I was in Memphis pre-fishing for the Mississippi River Monsters one year. It was our anniversary weekend, and this was several years ago. We went down a month early, and we was catching fish at the rate of one about every 10 minutes. And I had Doc Lang on the phone, and Doc and I was talking. He said, you're going to have to be careful. So there's a storm moving in right on you. And he says, there's a whole bunch of purple stuff in it. And I said, man, I ain't quitting. These fish are going to town. And we was wiping them out. And Cindy got scared. She said, we got to go. She says, this storm's getting bad. And it was. Wind was terrible, and it started raining and just sprinkling, and we was in that monster cat, and it had a 300 E-Tech on it, and I fired that baby up and back to the boat ramp we went, and I pulled up, and I run up I didn't run. I hurriedly made it up to the truck and back the trailer in, and just as it hit the boat trailer, a downpour started, and I got drenched. I was so wet that the water was pulling clothes off of me. It was that bad. And pulled up to the top of the hill there at Memphis between the building, and there's some kind of big thing there where nobody could see me, and got the boat done. And I was just soaked. So just undressed right there and got in the truck and took off. Pretty much nothing on but a smile. And drove for over an hour because there was no place you could pull over. Everybody had the roads pulled over. There was no place to go. Wow. You couldn't see. You was following guys' tail lights. It was raining so hard. And we got way up in Arkansas and pulled into a truck stop. And I got out and got between them trucks and our truck and boat and put some dry clothes on, and we made it on home. But I'd have been in trouble if we hadn't had spare clothes and stuff. I mean, really in trouble. That's what happens. Like I say, I was driving, and there's rarely a time, I don't care how bad the roads are or how bad the weather is, that I won't run 60, 80 mile an hour. Drove race cars my whole life. That doesn't bother me. But that day, you was going by whoever was in front of you, and you stay close up, you can see their tail lights, because if you didn't know if you were going to run into them or not. It was raining that hard. And like I say, you couldn't pull over nowhere because somebody was in every place to pull over there was. And just hope you stayed on the road. It was as bad a storm as I've ever been in.
Speaking of bad storms, if anybody has any plans of fishing this weekend, make sure you guys keep an eye on that weather. Starting Thursday, every weather model is talking severe storms all the way till, I think, Sunday or Monday. So make sure if you guys are going out, you're prepared.
Yeah, we had it was originally Friday, Saturday, Sunday, lightning storms on the weather. Now we have rain on Friday, but not Saturday, Sunday. So I don't know if the projections have changed or what, but that's the thing. You know, what I was saying earlier is, you know, the weather patterns, they could say it's going to do one thing and do something completely opposite by the time you wake up, and in the morning happens all the freaking time. But like that storm in particular, Lyle, what was that? What, in the last 10 years or older, longer? Or?
It's probably in the last 10 years. Getting close to 10 years, though.
So you probably at least still had did you have a flip phone back then or a smartphone or what?
I don't know.
I
was a smartphone of some kind.
I mean, well, what I'm getting at is, did you know that that weather had, there was potential for that kind of weather when you were going out?
Not when we went out, but we wasn't out too awful long, and we knew it was coming. And I didn't think it was going to be near that bad. When Doc got to talking
Sonny
about
Parker wasn't so afraid, he'd come in here and talk about all kinds of safety issues tonight.
He's going to. Sonny's going to do a show with us to talk about safety stuff.
Good.
So you guys can be looking forward to that. There's Sean T. Outdoors.
But we have this thing now that I think makes a world of difference when it comes to that kind of stuff. I did a video on it about a year ago about different apps and stuff, and I think the more prepared you can be with that kind of stuff, there are tons of different freaking apps, not just checking the weather, radar apps and river level apps. And, there was one in there that actually inspired me to do that video, was something called the Windy app. And there's a lot of apps just like it, but you can actually see the radar and the wind directions and the projected gust and all that kind of stuff on those. I think that, now you can, before, like what Lyle went through back then when he only had that little flip up phone to answer and have Doc tell him what was coming through. Now we have it in the palm of our hand. We can check it hour by hour and see what's shifting, because
even less than that, minute by minute.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. But how often have you been sitting out there and the freaking wind direction changes 4 times in an hour?
That's
you
true.
Never know what weather is going to do.
No, you do not. That is a fact. I'm looking for. I have a couple of those apps like that on my phone. If I could find them, I'd tell you about them. But
I got bunny ears. Where did I get bunny ears?
I'll tell you what I have the app for that I really like is Find Ship. It'll tell you where barges are at, any commercial vehicles that are registered, let you get a hold of the dams and lock through and stuff like that. It's, if you're in a tournament and you've locked through, you can look on that app and see how many barges is it, because they're going to lock them barges through first. How many is coming from each direction, so if you need to get on over and get locked through before they all show up and you get hung behind that dam, can't get locked through at weigh-in time. It's a great app, extremely accurate on the waters I fish. Mississippi and Missouri rivers, it's extremely accurate for them. It tells you which way the barges and stuff are going, and it's just a real cool app. I like it a lot.
Stand 3's been coming up with quite a bit of stuff. You should be prepared if you break down on the water. tools and,
Yep.
and all that stuff. And that's the main thing, guys. I mean, you should always be, whether it's weather or you're just, you know, a nice day, bad things can happen. I mean, you can get hung up on a log or a rock jam or something like that. You don't know how long you're going to be out there. You don't know what kind of tools you're going to need. So
No, you don't. So you need to have a variety.
yes,
Well,
you do.
I mean, I know the thumbnail was, you know, all about like a storm coming or whatever, but it was more of being prepared for fishing trips altogether, right?
Yeah, that's not the only storms are not the only thing that happens.
But I mean, I was thinking about that the other day because I was actually looking while we were out at Lake Gaston. I need to get a secondary prop for my boat, you know, and it's like because you never know, and you know, something you talk about apps and stuff, you know, looking at stuff like Navionics, knowing hazards, you know, those are usually pretty good with pinpointing, you know, rock piles and stuff that you want to avoid, but not everything can be avoided. You never know what's floating down a river or whatever that you may hit with your prop and just tear it up. But you know, like you said, tools and extra prop, all that kind of stuff is always good to have.
Navionics and what's the other one? I've got them both.
LakeMaster.
LakeMaster. I have both of them. They'll each one do really cool things, the other one don't. And it's nice to have access to both of them. Did Garmin buy Navionics?
Yes.
Damn, what a crying ass shame.
It's awesome since Garmin is the best.
No, they're not. Not even close.
On the market. Yes.
Not even close.
Please.
I got a notice that my subscription to my Navionics said that. I'll probably just strictly go to LakeMaster on account of that.
Yeah, I do know. They've owned Navionics for years. I don't know what the up price is there, but I have not renewed that either.
Yeah, I got.
Garmin's owned that for a long time.
I did not know that, or I wouldn't have been buying it. And it's nothing against Garmin. It's against the Live Scope, and it's a great product. I think everybody that wants it should have it. I'm just sick to death of hearing about it. I would never buy their product because if you go to anything, that's all people talk about. And I'm done hearing about it.
Telly Lee, I'm going to need you to sit down and have some resting time, my dear. Miss Telly's not feeling the best, and she needs to rest. So,
okay,
that's all I got to say about that, Miss Telly. You know what? You make me want to buy a Live Scope.
Well, get it.
Just make you angry.
Then make me angry.
But I won't.
Just don't talk about it.
Oh, I will. Just probably not as much as I'll tell you about how the Cubs lead the all-time series against the Cardinals. But
you're like a Chevrolet driver on a racetrack. Yak, yak, yak. No performance.
Here we go.
At least he didn't use the Ford, you know, leading most of the race and then just couldn't finish it off like normal.
What that he couldn't stay put.
He was there.
Here we go.
He was winning. All he had to do was stay put.
Here we go.
Brian Bean says Live Scope and chicken is the keys to Lyle's heart.
And Sean T, Lyle is a Cubs fan. He just didn't like people knowing that. So
that's not the case at all.
No, but and guys, if you've got a small toolbox in your truck, think about everything that you've got in there in case of an emergency.
Yep.
You should literally have that in your boat also. If you could use it in your boat, pliers, shear pins, prop, you know, fuses, especially fuses.
You got to have two kinds of Phillips screwdrivers. You got to have a number 1 and number 2. That'll take care of the majority stuff that Phillips
number 2
does. Number 3, very rarely on boats you need a number 3. 2s and 1s. You need a couple of straight screwdrivers, and it doesn't matter what length they are because you get to everything or you can't get to it, so it doesn't really matter. You need at least a pair of regular pliers and a pair of channel locks. You need a 2 large and small adjustable wrench, set of water pump pliers. They call them water pump pliers. Block Napics, whatever you want to call them, that are adjustable pliers that reach big thing, little things and big things. A piece of electrical tape, half a roll. That'll get you nearly anything that you're going to wire up on a short notice.
I don't know, as much as you can use electrical tape for, I would say at least 2 rolls, 2 full rolls
my
of that.
God.
Well, I mean, listen, you never know what you're going to use that stuff for. You can use them for the breakaways. You can use them for, an emergency Band-Aid for sure.
I was gonna say, yeah, you could wrap bad cuts until you're able to get to where you need to go.
Accident prone as you are, James, I'm thinking you probably need half a whole roll, whole spool of it.
No, that's why I usually carry bubble wrap.
Oh, bubble. That's what Sonny
I know,
needs
Katie
for
does.
falling out of the boat. Channel locks, Danny, you're right. Thanks. Fuses, another good one, Brian. I have 2 or 3 packages of fuses in my jump box that I built. I have ATC fuses for everything in it. I have regular fuses that are in my boat motor. It has 2 regular fuses, the old straight glass kind. I have a couple of each one of them. Never had to use them, but you can't use them if you don't have them. Set of side cutters in case you got to trim off a piece of wire and rewire something for whatever reason. You don't know. Just a handful of stuff that you would normally use every day will get you a long way if you break down.
Yeah. And Stan 3 was saying, oh, don't forget, what the heck? Jumped on me.
What the heck?
Don't forget the duct tape got the space shuttle home. Jody even carries extra spark plugs.
I don't do that.
And let's hit on something pretty important. I mean, I've got, with my medical issues and stuff like that I've got, I carry a list of all the meds that I'm on. We've got it laminated, the medicines I'm allergic to, all that stuff, emergency contact numbers, everything. If you get down, they're going to need that stuff. I mean, what was it? Jim Catman Clark literally had a heart attack while out fishing, and he was live streaming while he was doing it.
Yeah.
He barely survived that one.
It's a fact.
There's a lot of people in chat that aren't getting any younger.
None of us are every day.
Well, I am.
And as old as Lyle is, I mean, he's got his scrolls from when he has all of his meds on, but I mean,
that was a good one. Yeah. Oh, that was funny.
Catfish Regulator says Jody needs to carry extra gas. Sounds like there's a story behind that. Fishing with Squirrel. Welcome, buddy.
But I think, we've talked a lot about like the safety stuff part of it, but almost there's not every state, but almost every state has an app now as well.
Yep.
Please explain.
So like on my phone alone, I've got the TVA app, which is, the Tennessee Valley Authority. So I can, any dam that they do or waterway that they have, I can check different stuff. I've got Outdoors Alabama, Missouri Fishing, the Fish Boat KY app.
KY what?
Kentucky.
Oh.
Hunt and Fish Ohio, Go Outdoors Virginia, TWRA on the Go, Outdoors Georgia, Go Outdoors South Carolina. So places that I have or want to go fish, you can go download that app. Just like you go into Walmart back in like the early 1980s, Lyle, and you get your DNR book for free that you can have all that. Again, it's all in the palm of our hands now. I can open up the Kentucky DNR guide and find any regulation that I want, or if I think I have a state record, or if I'm not sure if a species is, legal, like using crappie for bait. I can look it up on my app and see what I can and can't do. But hopefully one of these days Kentucky will change that law so I can send Dockery pictures of me using crappie for bait.
Here's the thing. I would love to use crappie for bait here in Missouri. I really would.
But you like to eat
But
it.
there's way, way too much money to be made in the state from just regular crappie fishing. It is considered a game fish. They will never change that regulation.
No, they won't on
Same
game.
here.
And and especially considering, we are the home of Bass Pro Shop.
That's right.
So, yeah, that's never going to happen.
The other thing that I'm sure there's an app on, and I do not have it, is Corps of Engineers. That way you can check the dams and all the stuff that has to do with them. I know they've got one, but I do not have it. And that's one everybody should have. The fishing rivers.
There's a couple different, like I said, I've got the TVA app, but I also have one called Flow Alert, and then one called Rivercast. There's different ones that, some of them will have specific to like the Tennessee Valley Authority. That's only the waterways that they do, but some have more. They do different. It's more apps in one. Basically, they tap into the data from the Tennessee Valley or the Ohio River or whoever, and get all of those numbers, and they constantly feed them to their app. The way they're there for you. So. Wow.
That's just mean. Mean, I'm telling you.
Jody, don't worry about it. We've all ran out of gas once or twice in the boat.
Yeah. Danny Stone says, if a bad storm hits and you are on the opposite shore, do not try to cross the Mississippi. Stay there and ride it out. Learn that one the hard way. It'll make you pucker.
And guys, don't rely. I mean, if you go fishing with a friend or something like that, don't rely on, say, a spouse to let you know if severe weather's coming. Last thing you really want to do is get trapped under a bridge in a tornado.
That's right. Yes, James?
She did that to me one night. Me and a buddy of mine were fishing over the Mississippi River, and we knew a storm was coming, but we thought we had till about daybreak. And right as that storm system hit, we were up there by the Fox River, and the only place that we could get out of any shelter or find any shelter is under that bridge, and it damn near swamped the boat. It was bad. And after the storm passed, she calls. It was like, hey, there's a storm heading your way. Yeah. She claims it sped up. I doubt it.
It might have. You don't know.
You said Fox River. I think anything that gets near Chicago speeds up.
That's not.
Oh, no. This is a good Fox River.
Oh.
It's deeper than 4 foot.
It is deeper than 4 foot.
Yeah, going, man, my sinuses are driving me nuts.
Mark says he gets weather alerts on his Garmin. If that's true, that's kind of cool.
I mean, Garmin is the best.
No.
Yes, they are.
You can't make a pimple on Hummingbird's ass.
I'm sorry.
Why do you get him going like that?
Why not? Gotta keep this show a little spicy.
Yeah, Stan 3 says if you have weather alerts on your phone, they will come up on your fish finder so you can't miss it. Mine might not be new enough for that.
Well, see, that's probably why you still think Hummingbird are the best. You haven't upgraded in 10 years.
There's no question in my mind they are.
You haven't upgraded in 10 years. I'm just saying.
Don't need to.
Oh man,
Short this week. That'd be good. I'd like to see that. What was that? Garmin sounds a lot like garbage.
Mark Barnum, what is wrong with you?
He's sticking up for me. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it much. Seen earlier, Brad Beck said he had 2 tournaments this weekend. I think one Saturday, one Sunday. We'll have results from them, I'm sure, for next week.
Who was it that won that Sea Arc this weekend?
I had no idea. Didn't watch any of it.
I don't. You talking about the Sea Arc tournament or the Sea Arc boat?
The Sea Arc boat.
Oh, Mr. Zach Murray.
That's who it was.
Yeah, they gave.
I did see that.
Yep. They gave one away, and he won it.
Good for him.
Yeah, now he can sell that and buy a non-paperweight. I can tell him where he can find a great polar craft. Not mine, but one like it. But yeah, that's pretty cool. And then he let Mr. Chris Souders, I guess, he fished down there, but he didn't haul a boat, so he was able to haul it back home for him.
Yeah, that's pretty handy dandy.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. Danny Stone says, if your wife just doubled up on your life insurance, it's not a reliable weather alert. Just saying. Oh, man.
Yeah, congratulations to Zach. That's a cool deal.
Did you guys do any fishing this weekend? I'm sorry. Sorry, Lyle. We never. So, Dockery, how was the fishing this weekend?
It wasn't too terrible bad. I had to take a little bit of time off. We had a event we were teaching this weekend, so.
Oh, that's nice.
You don't know either.
Wait,
I was
the only
catching
one that
crappie.
fished?
I would send you more pictures, but you get all pissy about it. So
that's not true.
But the spawning season up here it's about to start to kick off. So about another week or so, and we'll be good to go.
Yeah.
And then I'll stay home for 2 or 3 weeks until after it's over. And
the bites, I don't know. The bites been sucky here. I went out Saturday for a few hours, and I went out Sunday for a lot more hours. And both days, one bite, one fish.
It is tough.
I mean, and it wasn't we had multitude of different baits. We had tons of different locations trying. Couldn't figure out anything this weekend. So.
Well, I'm sure somebody they had a chemical spill up in Iowa here a while back, and it had a huge, massive fish kill off.
Really?
Yeah, I sent you guys that article.
Okay, that one. It's been a little while.
And that flowed down into the Mississippi River, and that's something else that you guys, as far as the safety thing, if you've got any type of alert system on your phone, that Corps of Engineers, the DNR, wherever, that needs to be coming across your phone as an alert also.
I agree, because a chemical spill like that, if you're any way even reasonably close to that, I would never eat them fish after that's happened.
Most of those fish were dying within an hour, from my understanding. That's how much chemical was leaked into that water. So
there's no way. I don't know who was responsible for that, but you can't punish them enough for that.
Well, and chances are they're just going to get a slap on the wrist.
I'm sure it is. That's the case.
And I'm
sure it is. But I just don't get it with me.
Dead Sea Pirates Fishing says, if you're in a boat, at what wind speed do you feel is unsafe personally? All boats are different, of course. For me, it depends on the size of your boat, and it
Yeah.
also depends on the body of water and the wind direction. Like if you're on on a river that's got flow and the wind is going straight upstream, it's going to create a very dangerous
Yes.
situation very
so.
quickly.
Very much so.
If you're on a wide body of water, whether there's flow or not, the wrong wind direction, that's where knowing your body of water, maybe talking to some people would be a very beneficial thing, because I've seen many times down there on on the Tennessee River on Lake Wilson, that body of water is about 1.5 to 2 miles wide at points, and the wrong wind direction going across the river will create 4 to 6 foot waves.
It's the same on the Mississippi River up
dangerous
this way.
quick.
If that wind starts to blow straight up that river,
Yep.
you're looking at 4 or 5 foot waves
or more
going through there, and then or more, and then you add barge traffic on top of that, you'll get swamped in a heartbeat.
Yep. D and I, we were fishing. It's been a few weeks ago. It was before we went out to Gaston. The river out here was flowing about 3.5, 4 mile an hour, and we had wind coming straight up the Ohio, and we were coming home, or coming back to the boat ramp. We were on the Indiana side, so we had to cross. And when we came around the corner, this part of the river, it's a river in the river bend. This part there was hardly any, there was no waves, nothing. But as soon as you came across or came around, and it was coming straight up that, you could see on the other side, on the Kentucky side, the rollers that were, creating over there. And sure enough, as soon as I came around a corner, there was a barge coming up river, just turning it up. And I couldn't just jet across him. I was, my luck, something would have happened. Boat would have stalled, and we would have been in front of him. I didn't want that. So we had to go down river. And like I said, between him and the wind, the waves were so bad when we were coming across. Even in my new boat, it made my butt pucker all the way through there. And I was, because you got those side rollers when you're coming across. Those rollers, you're going like this instead of up and over. And when you going across, and you got that 4 mile an hour current trying to get to the creek mouth, and it's swinging your boat constantly to the left and right. You're trying to do it. You're like, okay, this is sucky.
And if you're unsure of that body of water, stay home.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the reason why I say that, even if you're wearing a life jacket, things can happen. And that's another safety thing. Always carry enough life jackets for at least 3 or 4 extra people in your boat, because you never know if a rescue situation is going to come up, if you're going to need that extra life vest. How many times, Lyle, over the years have we've lost fishermen in the Mississippi River that grew up on that river.
That's right.
And they fished it, if not every day, every other day.
Yep.
And they just disappeared. You never know what's going to happen.
You don't. And it's not just them. I lost a good friend of mine a few years ago on Truman Lake. Fell out of his boat fishing by himself. And
that's another big thing. Always let somebody know where you're going to be fishing, and stick with that. If you plan on moving, guys, we all have cell phones. Call, text, something to let anybody know that you're moving, or that your plans have changed, or something like that.
It's fact. Mark says weather is no joke. I've seen 13-inch swells on Lake Michigan. I'm sure he means 13 foot.
I don't know, but for somebody like Dockery and you, 13-inch swells might be over your all's head. So I know you guys would get nervous.
Who are you talking about?
You little people. Ain't that what you got to call you guys now? Little people?
What's wrong?
13.
Okay, Ogre. Move on.
Ooga.
I've seen 8-foot rollers on the Mississippi. Them's the biggest ones I ever seen. Looked around to see how my brother was coming. He had a 18-foot super wide John boat, and all I could see was the bottom of his boat and a prop and a skag of his motor. It was completely out of the water.
Water.
Wow.
Yep.
Marky was in there with me, and he was holding on to the rope that you tie the boat off up like a rodeo rider, throwing him around. He was, I don't know, probably 15, 16 years old. It was the damnedest thing I was ever in my life. We just praying that we could get to the bank. You know, it was a rough one. Didn't last very long, but she was rough while I was there.
I would say the one trip that, and I don't know how big the rollers were, but when we went down there for Dee's birthday with Betty and Brandon to Wilson, and I still had that little boat, and we thought we were going to duck into a creek because it was so windy. We were like, we'll all just go across here. Well, I thought, on the map that it looked like a little creek, when in reality it was just a little runoff, and you weren't getting a boat up there. But by the time we got over there, the waves were so freaking big. I don't know how we got that little boat back and out of it. Luckily, that was right after we. I don't remember if you guys remember. I was having all those issues getting the boat on plane, and we was talking about the prop.
Yep.
And I just changed
Yep.
it out, and was able to get that boat on plane. And I think that's what saved us over there, because we hit it and we never slowed down. And I hit it and kept on turning, and here come Betty and Brandon. I was just like, go, let's get out of here, because this is not going to be good.
That's right.
Because all we would have done was been smacked up against those rock walls over there that they have. You got to be experienced, and I don't think you're ever experienced enough, but don't ever think that wind or water will be forgiving, because it'll mess you up in a heartbeat. It
No
does not
forgiveness.
care. There is
That's
no
right.
forgiveness.
That's 100% correct.
Always
You know,
keep
one
your
thing
head
that
on
we
the swivel.
haven't talked about, we're coming up on the heat of summer. Make
Yeah.
sure you have an ice cooler of water, not beer, not pop, water. You need
Yeah.
something that's actually going to hydrate you instead of, making you need more.
That's right.
I'll tell you what, you're not wrong. And when extreme cold and extreme heat, both, you need to hydrate, because both of it will suck the moisture right out of your body.
That's right.
And chapstick on both, it will save you in the heat of summer and in the dead of winter, keeping your lips, from cracking up, because they dry out really quick.
That's a fact.
What's up, burrito lady?
Stand 3 says, don't make your first anchor in heavy current. Practice in a calm area first. That's good advice.
That is good advice, Stan.
Make sure you know what you're dropping that anchor into also.
That's correct.
Yeah. Well, I mean that right there is, you talking about, because going from a beginner boater to an experienced boater, practicing on good water is always a good thing.
Yep.
Don't go out there thinking you're going to be an expert when you first go at it, because there is a lot of stuff to learn. I watched a video of somebody that was actually down there in the Tennessee Sea Arc tournament, and you could tell that they've never fished that kind of water before. And they did have they had some pretty decent storms down there, from what I understand. The water was very choppy. I don't think there was much current, thank goodness, but you can hear the way they're talking about doing different stuff, that they honestly, to me, didn't have any business being on that water. They needed to go out with somebody and actually learn, not lake or non-barge type waters, from where they're from, where you have that kind of situation, because it was stuff like that if you're not paying attention, you're putting yourself and others in harm's way if you don't know what you're doing in a boat.
And I think
Basically a pleasure boater.
one of the biggest overlooked ones is, guys, if you've got a place to put a couple of really sharp knives in the front of your boat and you anchor up on any body of water, especially if it's moving, if it's got current, that is the most important thing. You need at least 2 in the front and 2 in the back.
That's right. And don't be afraid to cut that rope.
Yeah. No, you can replace an anchor. For those, I mean, there's a lot of people that don't fish the bigger rivers, and you see a 40-foot oak tree floating down the river, and all you're seeing is about this much of it, and it comes up every great once in a while. You get that stuck in your anchor rope, you better be right there to cut it loose pretty quick, or everything is gone. I mean, we just had a guy lose his boat here, last weekend? That didn't have anything to do with, a tree or anything. That was just other people. That's another thing you've got to look out for is people in your surroundings.
Right.
Stan, for something like that, it depends, for one, if they're in current, God, no. Don't ever anchor from the back.
I'm never going to anchor from the back.
Now, if you're like what we did this weekend, is we didn't hit in the creeks. The river was flowing about 3.5. The creeks were dead. Now I did throw the anchor out the back and use the trolling motor just to keep us in spot lock because we had the side winds, something
That's
like
not
that.
the same, though.
That's yes, but in a river, God, please, no, never throw an anchor out the back.
No.
Yeah,
that is going to
I
be
ain't anchoring from the back.
Even if you're trying to keep boat sway, if you have current, because if you have something happen, whether you're using an anchor in the front or spot lock, and you lose that front connection, that boat flips around, all that water pressure is coming up over the back of your boat. So no, never in a current type situation would you ever throw an anchor out the back.
That's why you need floats that go out the back on ropes.
Do what? Say that one more time.
What do you call them? It goes out the back. You throw them out. Funnels. I can't think.
Drift socks.
Drift socks.
Yes.
I've got 4 of them in my boat. All big ones. All big ones. I bought a bunch of little ones one time. You might as well piss on them. As much good as they done with a real size boat. I bought them used from a guy, and he gave me a deal on them. And I thought, well, they'll keep me straight in the river. Why, hell, you might as well just piss in the water. Did it all good done. Get you big enough ones. They say on the sides when you're buying them on the package, it'll tell you what size boats they work for, and then it doesn't hurt anything. Go the next size bigger. Like I say, I got 4 of them in the boat all the time, and if you're having sway problems or anything like that, instead of throwing extra anchor out, throw that drift sock out and call it a day.
Yep.
Scariest ever. Go ahead.
A boat oar. I think you should always have at least 1 or 2 in your
That's
boat.
the law. That's Coast Guard law.
Yeah.
Have some kind of oar.
This one right here used to be on Lyle and Cindy's boat.
I thought that was one before Cindy. I thought that was the one he had on when he helped Noah build that one.
No, that one's still outside. That one's really big. I can't bring that one in the house.
Oh
God!
You had to send me the pictures again, and I couldn't tell the difference.
How did you? That's not mine.
It is yours.
How did you end up with it?
Because it busted in the boat. You guys let it sit there, and it rotted, and you were like,
"What, did I whack you with it or something?"
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't remember doing it.
Stepped on it.
Oh.
And it cracked. You told Cindy to throw it in the trash, and I'm like, nope, I'll take it. So I hung it up on the wall.
All right. Well, I'm sure we went and got a new one right then.
We did.
Yeah.
Actually, you had one before you ever threw that one out.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Did you guys see the new fishing and stuff video? I want the paddle that he talked about.
Got that pump in there?
It's got the, yeah. Yep. That's pretty cool. If you haven't seen that, definitely go check that out, because that's a pretty cool, innovative idea that they had there. Dog and I Outdoors said scariest ever was trolling motor died when he was between anchored and a moving barge.
Yeah, that wouldn't be
very
good.
careful about moving barges.
the thing about barges is they can't stop. They don't have brakes, and if they're going up current, it's pushing them backwards. If they're going down current, it's speeding them up. So don't ever get into a bad situation around a barge. And always, if you're having any kind of trouble with your motors and stuff, stay as far away from them as you can get, because they'll suck you right into them if you don't have the power to get away.
And if you're night fishing, guys, and you've got your spotlight out there and you see a barge, do not make the same mistake that I've made in the past. You shining that spotlight across and that barge, you hit that wheelhouse on that, and they will light you up.
You will not win that light battle.
Yeah, no, you will not.
That's a fact. That is a fact.
You guys in chat got any other questions about preparing for, whatever may come at you? Like I said, there's a lot of different things that we could talk about with this, whether it be the safety aspect of it or just preparing for your tournament, or for your day out, things that don't, what you might think is going to happen, even fishing wise, trying to adjust and using different methods and stuff like the Navionics app, or in Lyle's case, the Lake Master app. Look at different stuff. Using apps. There's a lot of other apps too that even
there is
help with other fishing as well.
There is certain things on Lake Master that I like over top of Navionics, and there's things on Navionics that I like a lot better than we kid about the Garmin stuff and different things, but Navionics is a great source of information if you have one of their chips, and you can upgrade them to anywhere in the world. If you decide to go, you can get them, and you can with Lake Master too. I actually prefer the Navionics over the Lake Master for the rivers, but for lakes and stuff, there's some things about Lake Master that I like better, and one of them, it's easier to change the depths. If the lake is up or down several feet, you can change it easier on the Lake Master. Of course, I can't remember to do either one of them, so I got to look it up. But both are good quality apps to have, and you can get that stuff for your phone if you just prefer to have it that way. But if you've got a depth finder of any kind, most all of them will take either one or both of them. I have both cards in mine, so I can switch them back and forth.
So Stan, the first thing that I ever check is just weather.com. But there's an app that I have called the Windy app.
Windy app, yep.
And there's another one here that it's eWeather HDF. And that's the three. Yeah, that's the three that I have. That's pretty much the three that I have, other than checking, there's, every once in a while I'll just double check, like the local weather channels will have radar as well, or weather.com radar, stuff like that's the three that I basically use though.
I use the weather
cast, all that stuff. And guys, you can actually go and look up like the GFS, the Euro, all of those weather maps and stuff like that. You can look at them and see what the weather's going to do also, and use your best, educated guess. You're about as good as any weatherman at the moment.
Well, that's probably true. The one thing that I do like about the Weather Channel, though, you can scroll down on it and get a radar reading.
Yeah.
Something's moving in on you. Say, where I'm at, I just move it over to the side, and I'm looking out in Kansas to see if there's anything out there, because I know it's coming to me. And if I don't see anything out there for 3 or 4 hours or 6, I'm probably pretty good for however long I'm going to be on the water.
And Stan, you're fishing from a kayak like I do. That Windy app, that'll be your best friend before too long, because you can check to see if it's even worth taking your kayak out in. Because if it's, if If it wind starts kicking up about 20, 30 miles an hour, you're not going to want to be out there in that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, there's a lot of info on it, and actually, again, I'll post this video here in just a minute. I don't want to kick anybody over if they want to check it out, but I'll post this in a second. That if you want to go check it out, there's some detail on my video about the Windy app that you can see that different stuff, and you can watch the hour by hour shift. So when you're looking at what's going to be happening to 5 hours from now or this evening, you can actually kind of go over to it, and it'll show you the different wind directions that everything is happening in. So It's pretty cool. I am fishing from the bank right now. Motor's down. That ain't good.
Mark Barnum says local news stations has weather app and a radar you can zoom out of this to see stuff states away.
That's pretty cool.
It is.
Because
I'm sure Springfield is big enough. They got all that stuff. But my God, if you put every app on there, I'm only looking for the important stuff. It's too much of a lot of that stuff that I don't want.
All right.
There's a whole bunch of it too that when you put it on there, it's too hard to figure out how to get rid of it. Stand motors down. Well, that's not on a kayak, is it?
No, he's been fishing more out of a boat lately.
Well, I can relate to that.
They also have motors that go on kayaks now.
They do. A lot of people.
I wouldn't have
definitely
one
people.
now.
I would definitely have me a trolling motor on a
The
kayak.
biggest
if I was
one you
on
could
one.
get on it.
Oh, I would take my 36 volt 112 thrust on it. That's right.
You betcha.
That's
Put
right.
it up front where it belongs, not behind you.
All right. Well, boys, guys, got anything else? We don't
No.
have with Josh being called in. We don't have a bragging board that I see.
AccuWeather app is really good. Zoomable, maps, and radar.
There you go.
That's great advice, Randy. Thank you.
And most of your cell phones nowadays comes with some sort of a weather app.
Yeah, we're losing your voice. You can't hardly hear you, James.
Yeah, something happened to your sounds way down.
Your volume's really low. Are you using an iPhone? Oh,
Hell no.
All right, close this out there, Pops, and I'm gonna go ahead and drop this. So if anybody wants to go over and watch this, like I said, it's got some of those apps that we're talking about.
yeah, go ahead and post that up. Wednesday night, Mark and I will be doing Panfish Nation. Thursday, Chad and the boys will be on the bait shop. Freddie and Brian will join him and Chris. Okay. Is that a permanent thing? Because I can't remember.
I'm guessing he's kind of like, the next guy on the couch that just showed up. Now can't get rid of him like Brian. Been trying to get rid of him for like 2 years now.
I don't think you're trying very hard, though.
Not really.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Jody and Stan are on Friday nights. We'll be back next Monday night. No telling who's going to be on the weekend. I'm assuming Danny Stone and probably Parker and them guys. They haven't been live for a while, so they're about due. Don't know that for a fact, but give all these people some support and try to help them out. Anything else, fellas?
No. See you Thursday
James,
night.
thank you so much for jumping in here. When Josh asked you to be a part of this, I didn't know if you had enough time to do it or not, but when he gets called into work, he's got to go. And there's a lot of people like that. So thank you so much for jumping in here on short notice and helping us out. We appreciate it very much. It's always a pleasure to have you. Chad, Cubs suck. Night, everybody. We'll see you next Monday night.
Have a good week, everybody.